Recording started. Timer started. So if you haven't been here before, just remember, 15 minutes is the rule. I quit talking after 15 minutes. Thanks. Oh, wrong side. Thanks for coming for another blue tip session. This one, we'll see if it goes fast or slow. Depends how much trouble I have with it. This is something, we actually had the idea for blue tips way back in December. And what I'm going to show you today is something I wanted to show back then with blue tips, but we didn't ever do it, and so it didn't happen. But it's the idea of being able to integrate other applications into Blue Line. Okay? And what makes it really great now is they made an enhancement about a month and a half ago, which makes it so much easier than it used to be back in December when I wanted to show this. So, actually, this is the only slide I have. The rest of this, we're going to go to live demo and look at things. So, what the App Center is it's a way to very simply bring in external other applications into your course site. There's at least 100 of them already written out there. They're adding more all the time. They can be added to your courses or even to the system as a whole. So let me just show you. I'm in a course right here. So this is something all of you can do as an instructor with teacher access and courses. If you go to Settings, there's going to be a link that says Apps. Okay, and it used to say External Tools. It used to be something, it's always been here, but it wasn't near this easy. When I go here, I'm now going to show all of these external applications that I can link into my course and have be integrated. Okay, many of them are going to be fairly obvious. You see the YouTube one here, pretty clear it's going to be somebody with YouTube. Some of them, their pictures aren't very good, like this arrow here. What does that mean? Well, when you mouse over it, you actually can get a description of what that tool is. And that's the first one I want to show you. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. I get more information about it. It tells me exactly how it's going to work. It's going to allow me to make another tab on the left side of my course to go to another website. Okay, that's something we know a lot of people wanted to do. You can't customize it over here to go to another page inside of Blue Line, but you can go somewhere else with it. Okay, they even have ratings. So 5 people have rated this, 4 stars out of 5. There are some ratings. I think I may have at one point. No, not this one. Okay, so if I want to add it to my course, I simply say Add Tool. Now, since this is going to make a link on the left side of my course, I need to name that link. And falling back on old standards, I'm going to name it Taco Bell. And I need to put in the URL. Oops. And I tell you what, I haven't practiced enough to know if I need HTTP or not, so I'm going to just go to the default and put that in there. TacoBell.com. And I want to check the box that says Show in Course Navigation. Okay. In this case, ignore these two. What those are for is if administratively I wanted to put a link to Taco Bell in every course on the system, I could actually do this right here, or one of those. I could do that and add those links elsewhere in the system. But for your cases and courses, we just want it in the course navigation. So now when I submit this, just like that, I'm going to refresh my page, or I'll just click on the home page. That'll refresh my course. And now I should have a tab over here to Taco Bell. See, it took the name I gave it. And if I click on it, it is going to show the Taco Bell website inside my course. Okay, silly example, yes, but one place that we've used this system-wide is we have a link to called University Resources where we use this exact tool, and it has links to things like academic honesty. Here, I'll show you that actually. If I go to Settings, because this is all something you can add in your course, under Navigation, there's something called, that's not here. Okay, pretend, I'm in the wrong course. There was something, most courses you're going to have that'll say University Resources, and that's just a static web page, and we use that exact same tool. But this was much easier, and you can do it yourself. Okay? One thing you need to know about that. Some websites don't like you doing this. Taco Bell doesn't care. And what I mean by doing this, some websites don't want you to show their website inside of another website. An example, New York Times. If you try to do this New York Times website, what happens is it goes there, and then all of a sudden, boom, the whole page becomes the New York Times. YouTube, I think, does the same thing. It's a security and a content protection type thing. Security-wise, if there were a login link right here, I might be trying to log into Taco Bell, but someone else wrote on their site a separate login link here. Someone may try to steal my Taco Bell username and password. Or that's why YouTube does it. New York Times, they probably don't want you displaying their stuff in their web pages where you put your own advertising, things like that. So just be aware of that. When you test it, you may find that it actually pops you outside of Blue Line in that case. Okay? So there's one. That's one I think a lot of people actually really like. Let's look at a couple more applications. And I said there were hundreds, so obviously I can't show you all of them. This is one here for Graph Builder. It allows you to build graphs dynamically on your web pages you create here. So I'm going to click on that. This one will be even easier to add. So watch, I'll do that same thing. I'll click, I got my reviews. I'll say Add Tool. It already has a name. Just like that, I've added it to my class. And I'll show you how it works in a minute. Before I do that, I'm going to add another one. I also want to add one called, and just so you know you can search, I'm going to add a charting one. This adds the ability to add Google Charts right into your course site. So same thing, I'll click on it, add the tool. Just like that, it's added to my course. Now, where these show up, it says here Editor button. These are now buttons in my HTML editor anywhere in the course where I have the editor show up, for me and for students. So students can also use these tools. If you want students to build a graph right inside a discussion post, they'll have an easy way to do that. So let's show you how we might use those. I'll go to a module, and I'll add a page. A page is a pretty, I think, intuitive way where you'd use the editor. So in this module, I'll add a content page, a new one, and this is just called demo page. So now that I have my page, I'll go there and I'll show you what happens if I go to edit it. Okay, so here's my blank page. Here's my HTML editor. This graph, this was not there before. This is the graph builder I just added. Here is the Google Charts I just added. So now, like I said, anywhere where this HTML editor shows up inside this course, you can use those tools. So let's add a graph first. I'll click on it. And it's a little weird in this browser. Rather than actually put in some equations, I'll just add 3 different things. It's putting in some default ones for me, but I could go in and change those to change how the graph shows up. Yeah, let's go back into. We'll leave it at that. We'll insert it. We don't get to see the preview until we save the page. Let me do that. Okay, and this is a little glitch. Sometimes when you embed things on pages, videos do the same thing. When you first save it, they don't show up. If you refresh the page, though, you'll see it there. So now my graph is there. The neat thing about this graph is students can actually come in here now, and they can also manipulate it. They can add their own extra graph things. They can remove them. It defaults back to how I set it, though. So if I want a certain way, when I start, it defaults there, but students can come play around with that. Let me delete that, and let's show you the chart one. So this uses Google Charts to fairly easily embed some charts in your pages. So let's do a pie chart, and let's say Huskers is one. And Buckeyes, and I'll just put in some values. And you can see a preview there that is actually building my bar chart for me, although, oops, that didn't work right. Interesting. Well, for some reason, I didn't graph it right here. I did this right for me the other day when I did this. Give me a second here. Let's do an example here. We'll do their example. That's quicker there. So, freckles on fingers. There we go. And it inserted the values for me. I could adjust those. And now I can also specify how big that graph is going to be. But if I just leave it, now that I embed it, and again I save it, and I refresh the page because I can't see it when it first saves, there's now that graph or that chart right in my paper. Like I said, this is available in the HTML editor anywhere. So if you're doing a discussion with students, or say in a test you have an essay question they need to fill out, they would have that tool available then, that they could actually build a chart then to be inside there. Okay?
I assume there's no way to have it show up for the instructor but not for the students or something like that.
It depends on how the app is written.
Okay.
But I think by default with almost all of those, it's going to be for everyone.
Okay.
But to be honest, I haven't tested it thoroughly. There's no setting where we can set that. Okay? Let me show you one more. And just to be clear, this session wasn't necessarily about showing you how great this tool is and how great the graphing one is, as it is more showing you this feature, the App Center. Like I said, there's over 100 out there. And going out and kind of experimenting, seeing what ones might be useful for you is something that's fun to do sometime. I will point out a couple things, I guess, before I show this last one. Some of these aren't going to work. And let me tell you why. Because you have to pay for them. So for instance, Tegrity is a lecture capture system. And if we licensed it here at this school, this is how we could set it up then to incorporate in your class. If you try to add that, it's not going to do you any good unless you have an account on their system in your own setup. There are other ones like that as well. I haven't gone through enough to tell you, but Blackboard Collaborate, that's a web conferencing tool, which again, if you add it, it's not going to do you any good unless you have a Blackboard Collaborate account. We can probably filter these out at some point, but for now, everything's there, so you might find some that won't do any good. So last one I'm going to show you. These LTI apps aren't, I'm going to say anyone could do it. I don't want to say that. One of our own people here at Creighton, Brent Saltzman, wrote an LTI app, and it's in the App Store here. And it is for creating maps and embedding maps on pages. Now, he did this in about 2 days, and he's not a programmer. So again, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying that he certainly figured out a way to do this. And it's not only on our system, it's on any Canvas system people are using. So there's 4 to 7 million people out there who could be using this integration that he wrote. So let me just show you how it works, because we actually had I had a support ticket 2 weeks ago that this actually would have been beneficial to have had. So I'm going to add this map tool, just like the other ones. It's really simple. You just click Add Tool and Save. And let's say I'm going to make an announcement for my class that we're going to meet at the Upstream Brewing Company for class, or for after the end of week drinks or something, whatever the case may be. But I want to map to the location. So when I make an announcement, I have that same editor. Here's the one for the apps. So let's just say Friday meeting for a title. And I might say, let's meet blah, blah, blah. And I want to add a map to it. So here it is, street address or place. Let's type in Upstream Brewing Company, Omaha, Nebraska. Gives you a preview, make sure it's right. And sure enough, pick the downtown one instead of out west. That's what I want. Embed it. And there it is embedded inside my announcement. Let me save it. Again, we probably won't see it until I refresh the page. Oh, this one actually did show up right away. So now, just like that, I was able to take a map and embed it in that post. Again, not something you're going to use every day in the class, but I actually had a real ticket just probably about 2 weeks ago where someone had put a link inside a message, and they messed up the link, and it was to the Upstream Brewing Company. And then they used the announcement, they could have actually put in the map and everything right to where they were meeting for that graduate class. Okay, that's all I have. So I'm going to stop the timer and then answer questions as people have them. Actually, I'm going to stop the recording, so I should have said.